Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Who doesn't love starting their week with a First Tee Headquarters webinar? Good way to get you excited. I see Michael smiling, so I'll take that as a win. So awesome. We'll give folks are trickling in. We'll just do brief introductions and get started. So hello, everyone. Most of you may know me, but my name's Lexi Milford. I'm the Senior Director of Program Technology and Support here at First Tee Headquarters, and joined here today by my colleague, Kristen Westberg, who you'll hear from in a little bit around our coach training pathway. But really the purpose of today's webinar is to do a little bit of a process refresher on how the coach pathway learning cycle interacts with our learning management system within First Tee University. So as you guys know, back in March, we upgraded, I would say, our learning management platform where all of our e-learning and online learning opportunity engagement types of interactions are hosted. And with that came some new processes specific to how coaches are learning and progressing through our coach pathway. So with the fall training season coming up, we decided it'd be a good idea to maybe do just a brief refresher on the process and do a little bit of a deeper dive than we did back in the spring when we launched the LMS originally, just to kind of refresh on the process, who's clicking what button and where, and to give you guys a peek of what the coaches are seeing, what your role as the chapter is in all of this, and then what we at headquarters are doing to support along the way. So with that, I will progress the slide. So again, just told you what we're going to be doing. We do have this deck along with the recording will be sent to everybody afterwards and also posted on the intranet. So those that couldn't join, you'll be able to reference it and hopefully get a lot of great information out of there as you help coaches get signed up this fall and going forward into future trainings. But we are always here to help. So feel free, like Kristen said in the chat, go ahead and add questions there. We will have time for a Q&A at the end, but you're more than welcome to just pose questions. You might get a few responses as we go along here, but hopefully all of this is helpful information as we head towards fall training season. So just as a reminder, refresher, LMS, Learning Management System. I'll try not to use too many acronyms that are not familiar, but our LMS is one you might hear me say a few times. Just to reorient again, that is the online platform where adults do all of their learning activities. So taking e-learning courses, including ACT and other professional development opportunities. And that is also where our participants are accessing the First Tee app. So it is a shared platform, same website, essentially for both kids and adults to do learning. On the adult side specifically, hopefully you guys remember this from back in the spring, but as we relaunched First Tee University last year, we really wanted to be intentional around the different types of ways that people learn and the opportunities we're presenting out within the First Tee University ecosystem. So digital learning is really just one piece of that, but the LMS is really just a great hub for us to be able to track education, provide different ways for engagement and learning. But really all of these wheels are coming at you, if you will, from a First University standpoint in different ways so that everybody can get the education information they need to do the best they can in their role. And Coach Pathway is honestly a perfect example of a blend of multiple facets of this sort of ecosystem within adult learning, having both the online and in-person components being delivered by different people at different stages in the pathway. But to tell you more a little bit about that, I will let Kristen talk now.
Thanks, Lexi. Great to be with all of you today. So I know this is not a new image for anyone in this network here. We're all familiar with the coach training pathway, but a couple of things that I just want to highlight along the way. The pathway really shows how coaches grow and learn with First Tee. And it really starts with the onboarding that's happening at your chapters, giving your new coaches a solid foundation. And then from there, coaches move through a series of trainings. And so these are going to be a mix of chapter-led trainings as well as HQ-led and online experiences through First Tee University. And they each build upon the last. But the biggest thing that I think we want to get across is that it really is a journey. It's not a checklist. So the winding path kind of reminds us that development takes time, it takes practice, and it takes support from all of us. And so at HQ, we are here to continue developing resources that we can provide both in person and online, and as well as supporting you at your chapter in developing any of those trainings and resources that your chapter specifically needs. The goal is to help every coach grow in their confidence and their skills and their impact. And no matter where they are in the journey, really just to provide them with that clear path forward. And we look forward to continuously improving the experience at each of these stops along the journey. A couple of things to speak to just in terms of when we talk about the coach training pathway, at the core of it, what we're really talking about is coach development. And I think you're going to hear more of that over this next year. And as we move forward, this model centers around the idea that developing great coaches is a continuous and evolving process, and it's not just a one-time event. And there's really three pillars that support growth: training and education, which is led by both HQ and the chapter, providing those foundational tools and knowledge that's needed; repetition and reflection, which is encouraged and supported by the chapter, but really led by the coach, encourages them to practice their coaching skills, self-assessment and reflection, and really honing in on those important coaching techniques and skills that they're specifically working on. And then observation and feedback, which is really led by you, the chapters, offering real-time insights and constructive input to support your coaches along the way and determine what training they might need or are ready for, what training level along the coach pathway they might be ready for. Just to reiterate that it's a collaborative effort. So each layer, HQ, chapter, and coach really has a distinct role, but they all work together to support along the coach's journey. All right.
Beautiful. Thanks, Kristen. So with that in mind, with having our distinct roles of HQ, chapter, and coach, we really formatted the rest of the content here, kind of calling out what everybody is doing at each point along the pathway. So the next couple of slides, I'm going to be bouncing between, and there's a lot of words on here. I promise not to read most of them. And like I said, this will be published for you guys to be able to reference. But we really wanted to create a pretty comprehensive resource that helped you guys identify at each point along the pathway, what is everybody doing to keep people moving or finishing at certain requirements and getting through the pathway at the pace and at the level that they desire. So to start, that first dot on the pathway is coach onboarding, like Krista mentioned. After or while the person is completing their safe sport requirements, including the background check and training, they will have access to First University's LMS platform to take just a very brief, it's less than 10 minutes, introduction course to what First T is all about. Every adult that is created and has provisioned over to the learning management platform is automatically enrolled in this course, and it is the prerequisite to take everything else within the e-learning platform. So once this is done, the entire library opens up for you. And again, it's very short and sweet, but just gives them a really great foundational understanding of sort of what the organization is all about, mission, vision, values, those types of things. So your job as the chapter is to just get them into Salesforce, and we take it from there. We'll provision them over, create their account, send them a welcome email, and the coach will then log in, hopefully successfully, and then be able to access this course right from their homepage. So after that, that next step in the pathway bubble, if they want to continue in their coach development cycle, is taking assistant coach training or ACT online. Previous to this new LMS, there was a process of requesting this in Salesforce, and you'd go back and forth and you'd have to wait, take some time. Now with the updated system, every adult that is Safe Sport compliant and has completed Welcome to First T has access to take assistant coach training online without you, the chapter, having to do anything. They can go self-enroll in this course from the training library in the coaching category, or you as a First T University admin, if you're a chapter admin for the LMS, you can enroll them for them, and then they will get a notification saying they've been enrolled, please go take it. The course, like I said, is open to everybody, so there it doesn't necessarily have to be just coaches taking the ACT, but it is accessible once you've completed those first two requirements. Um, if you would like your coaches specifically to be automatically enrolled, so there's nothing you have to do, nothing they have to do, there is a field in Salesforce that will trigger that in the position field if you submit it as something that is program related, program coordinator, coach, site coordinator, program director, all of those specific positions will actually be auto-enrolled. The notification will go out once they complete Welcome to First Tee, and they'll be ready to go without having to do any additional steps. It'll be right there for them in their My Training area, ready to go. Okay, so we're gonna onboard Coach Bobby. I only called Coach Bobby so I remember who my example people are. So I'm gonna take you inside the LMS to show you exactly what this looks like to make sure that you guys are clear from both the coach and the chapter standpoint what you can do. So hopefully this is somewhat of a familiar platform for you guys. I am going to go be Coach Bobby, hopefully. So once I have completed Welcome to First Tee, I will come in here to the My Training area, and I'll actually see that I need to finish my Welcome to First Tee course. I think I'm almost done, so just give me a minute. Maybe. Okay, so I completed my course. It took me less than 10 minutes, super fast. Thank you for taking the course. Once I am done, I'll be able to exit out of this and head to the My Training area, where if I was listed as a coach, my assistant coach training would appear. Because it's not, you head to the training library within coaching. You'll see a whole bunch of courses that are available based on the different points in the pathway, which we'll get to later on in this webinar. I've already completed Welcome to First Tee, and I want to head into assistant coach training. By clicking enroll, it'll automatically open up the course, assuming that person is SafeSport compliant, and I'll be able to start taking the different modules and progress through the content at my own pace. I will note little sneak preview we did. Yes, did a little bit of an update on ACT that will be launching this week. So if you have new coaches or if you guys want to go check out some of the new videos, highly recommend. There's some great sort of refreshed content within that course right now that is getting launched this week to coaches. So that's it. It's very simple. The ACT is available. It's right there waiting for coaches to go grab. You guys don't have to really do anything other than make sure that they are in the system by making sure all of their fields in Salesforce are updated and ready to go. All right, back to maybe my presentation. Oh man, technology is great when it works. Oh, it's gone. Hold on one second, folks. Sorry about that. All right. We're back, I think. Okay, can everybody see my screen now? Back to Coach Bobby. Beautiful. All right, maybe. There we go. Okay, so that's onboarding. Very simple. Welcome to First Tee and assistant coach training. You're now through 2 bubbles on the coach pathway. Pretty fast, pretty great. Here's the part where we get into level 1, 2, 3, and 4, where there's a few more moving parts, a few more steps for coaches, chapters, and headquarters to take. But again, collaborative effort, everybody has their role, and hopefully it's easy to find and intuitive to get through as you work through within the LMS itself. So you have a coach, he's ready to take level 1. You guys know that you all are now empowered with your chapter trainers at your chapters or neighboring chapters to be able to deliver this in-person training at your leisure. So when you're ready and you have a group of coaches that have completed ACT, they're ready to move on to level 1, you guys can host this in-person level 1 training for a day at your chapter or neighboring chapter for those coaches that are ready. It does focus on ages 7 to 9, which you all know. And again, this is something that you guys are empowered to do without us. All we will do to help you is make sure that the resources are up to date, that you have branded assets to be able to deliver the training, and then of course answer any questions you or coaches have via support. Once that training is done, the in-person portion, there are a few things that you as the chapter person and you as the coach also have to do to make sure that the LMS matches your progress that you just completed a training in person. So once you are done hosting, you as the chapter hosting the level 1 training, the coach will actually be able to go into the LMS and enroll in the level 1 course, which I will show you where that is in a second. Within that course itself, there's a few modules. But again, as long as they've completed Welcome to First Tee and Assistant Coach training, that course is eligible for them to go grab without you having to go do anything. You can admin enroll them, but highly recommend we empower our coaches just to go snag it out of the training library to keep it easy and simple for everybody. Once they are enrolled in that course, they will be able, the first thing that they will have to do is confirm that they actually went to training. So what that means is a couple things. One, they'll need to submit a form basically stating who their trainer was and where they went and when it happened. And then you on the chapter side will submit essentially a verification through an attendance report to First Tee headquarters. So instead of going into Salesforce and creating all of these different date fields within the contact record, you'll submit one form to us with a list of all of your level 1 participants, and we will take it from there, making sure that they're verified and moving through the LMS side of things once they submit that they have gone. So you submit the report, the coach will go into that level 1 course, submit their report, we will verify, match those up, and they'll be done with that component. Once that training and verification is completed, the rest of the modules within level 1 course on the LMS will open up. There are 3 things that a level 1 coach has to complete after training to be considered a fully trained level 1 coach. The first is a knowledge check. It's a very simple, like 10 question, 12 question quiz around what they learned. A lot of things around the building blocks, some of the basics, foundational things they probably actually learned in ACT and at level 1, but a very quick, short and sweet quiz. They'll also have a survey that they can fill out to describe the experience at level 1. We have a few questions that we ask after all of in-person led trainings to help us continuously improve. And then they will need to submit a coach observation form that they were observed by a level 1 or higher trained coach post going to a level 1 training. So the observation will need to be conducted within a year of them going to that level 1 training event and then submitted through the LMS in this post-training documents module for HQ to review and approve. There is a rubric if you go onto the intranet. There is a resource to explain sort of what is expected of that coach observation form. If you remember, historically, you all were empowered to review that. When we revamped and updated the system, we took back that control for a little while we work on some things in the background from a functionality standpoint. So for now, HQ will be reviewing those forms against that rubric. The biggest things to remember is making sure that it's not a self-observation, so coaches are being observed by somebody else, and that there's good and productive, good, better, how feedback within the form itself. We do have a couple iterations of coach observation form out in the universe, so use which one will work best for you and your coach. But that is the final step in completing everything required of level 1. Once that is submitted and approved, the entire level 1 course in the LMS will be marked as complete, and that coach level will update on the Salesforce side to reflect their new achievement within their contact record in Salesforce. That was a lot of words. So hopefully that all made sense. But again, everybody has their own distinct part. It's not one person doing everything within level 1. And with that, I'm going to show you what it looks like on the learner side within the LMS itself for Coach Jessica. So I'm going to switch and be her. Don't be overwhelmed. You guys don't have this many people. I just have a lot of crazy example people. So I'm going to go be Coach Jessica. If you're Saved by the Bell fan, her last name is Spano. So once I have completed ACT and level 1, I am back into my LMS account, and I attended a level 1 training at my chapter hosted by an amazing chapter trainer. And now I want to go tell headquarters that it happened. You'll head into the coaching category just like you did for ACT, but this time I'm going to enroll in level 1. And my modules will appear because I am eligible, which means I've completed my background. My background check is active. I'm completed ACT, and welcome to First Team. So you'll start here, that training event verification. It's a simple couple question form that they will fill out, submit that to HQ. We will verify against the attendance report. And then once that is done, these 3 modules will open up with those blue start buttons for them to be able to go piece by piece and get everything else done for completing level 1. Again, I want to reiterate that all of these things have to be done in order for a coach to be considered a level 1 coach. Historically, we had sort of these like in-between designations on the pathway. We have simplified greatly to identify coaches as ACT level 1, level 2, 3, 4, once they have completed everything required of that particular level. We check for training event verifications and post-training documents every day here at headquarters. So we will try to be as timely as we can in approving these things as they come through for your coaches. So they're not waiting on us unless there is something obviously missing or we need to update something on our end. But we're making an effort to make sure you guys are not waiting around and people can move at the pace they would like. Okay, simple enough. Beautiful. Now, and I see we might have, I might pull up and see if there's any questions because I've been talking for a while. I just want to make sure everybody's doing okay. All right. I see, Michael, you asked a question about coach in Salesforce. Correct. They do not have to be designated as a coach. Nothing in Salesforce has to designate them as a coach to be able to access ACT. It only impacts the automatic enrollment if you use that position field. So thank you for putting that in the chat. Perfect. A few more about ACT. And excellent timing, Ronald, about level 2. So on to how we register. So if there are any other questions about ACT or level 1, feel free to put them in the chat. Hopefully it's all pretty straightforward. But now we get into the part where headquarters has a little bit more of a role when it comes to the training development and delivery of content to your coaches. So we are going to get ready for level 2 training. So when you have a coach or you are a coach that has completed level 1, you've gone in, your post-training documents and everything else is submitted and you're beautiful and you're certified and you're a wonderful level 1 coach leading classes, you decide that it's time that you want to go to a level 2 training and progress down the pathway even further with the help of some headquarters-led opportunities and some repetition and reflection from your chapter. So you want to go to level 2. The first thing you will do as a coach is enroll in the course called Get Ready for Level 2. And that does just that. It gives you a prerequisite module and an opportunity to request a spot at a specific training event location. So again, you'll go into that same coaching category and you'll see a course called Get Ready for Level 2 and self-enroll into that. Admins can also enroll, and there will be an email notification when the user and the learner actually is in that course, letting them know what they need to do. Once they're in that course, they'll see 2 modules. The first one is the prerequisite, which has to be completed before the event enrollment selection. The prerequisite was revamped at the beginning of this year. It's a short and sweet, probably 15-minute click through, read a few things type of module that gets them ready and understanding what level 2 coach training is all about, what to expect at the training event that will be hosted by headquarters, and gives them some links to some resources that were specific to the older age groups that they'll be learning more about at the level 2 training. Once they've completed the prerequisite, this event enrollment selection will open up for them, and they will be able to go into a calendar, see all of the different training events that are coming up for headquarters that are open for enrollment, and they'll be able to pick one. I will note and probably say this a few times, picking one on the calendar is not guaranteeing their spot at that training. It's called event selection because they are simply selecting the one they are interested in, not necessarily completing the full registration for that event, which I will get into in a second. Once they select and basically request a spot, let's say at the Connecticut training this fall, headquarters will take that list and reach out to you as the chapter along with the coach to confirm that this is where they want to go, sending you a full registration link that will include the opportunity for payment. There is zero payment going on in the learning management system itself. So no transactions are happening when a coach selects their location. All of that is taking place directly via a link that we will send you through our Cvent platform that we use right now to manage those registrations. So whether you are paying for it as the chapter or the coach is paying for it themselves, you guys can decide amongst that once the email goes out. But that is all handled separately outside of the LMS. So there's nothing that the coach will need to do payment-wise when they're picking their location. You'll get an email, and by completing that link, which has the payment and the rest of the registration information like dietary needs and things like that, once that is completed, we will, and we have the minimum amount for that training. So as you guys recall in previous trainings, we have to have a certain number of coaches to actually be able to host at a certain location. Once that minimum is met and are paid, we will send a confirmation to the coach and to you as the chapter, letting you know that this training has been confirmed, your coach is in, book your flight to Connecticut and enjoy some beautiful sunshine at wonderful TPC course. We will continuously communicate to make sure that you guys are up to date on how this is going. I know you've seen in the spring trainings as we are getting close to minimums on registrations, we're encouraging folks to sign up. So we will try to confirm these events as soon as we possibly can so that travel arrangements can be made. But we will make sure that you guys know when that happens so that your coach can plan accordingly and you as a chapter can plan accordingly as well. Okay, so we're confirmed. Training is happening. Connecticut is a go. We are going to actually go to the actual training where HQ will lead a 2.5-day training event in collaboration with our national trainers, where the coach will get one of the best experiences, in my opinion, at First Tee, learning all there is to know about coaching kids. So all we have to do at this point is make sure your coach gets to training, you make sure your coach attends all 3 days of training, and we will do our best to deliver a great experience for them on site. After that, we will go in the back end and make sure that they have access to a course called Level 2 Training and Post-Training Work. This course is hidden. A coach cannot see it from within the training library. Only headquarters can enroll them in this. And we only do this after they have actually attended the training event. Once they have completed all 3 days, we will mark them as complete in the first module, which is the actual training event, which will then unlock the additional requirements that they need to complete in order to become a level 2 coach. So remember, going to the training is just one part. They'll also have to complete a survey similar to level 1 and their post-training documents. The biggest difference between level 1 and level 2 is that at level 2, they not only do a coach observation form, but they also submit a unique and originally drafted lesson plan. Those 2 documents, in addition to the survey, are required for the coach to be considered a level 2 coach. So within the module, they can take these in any order. We recommend the survey shortly after the training so the experience is fresh, but you can really take it anytime. And then within a year of attending the training, those 2 documents, the lesson plan and the coach observation form, need to be submitted for headquarters approval. And again, the rubric is on the intranet. And again, we're looking at those every day to make sure that they are getting assessed and reviewed promptly. But once all of that is complete, we will mark it as completed. the course will complete and the coach will get an email saying, congratulations, you're a level 2 coach. And I wish there was confetti coming out of the computer, but there's not. But congratulations, you're a level 2 coach. They'll get a fancy certificate and they'll be on their way, continuing on that wonderful coach pathway that we have. All of this work, the post-training stuff, is done within the LMS. There is a email that we headquarters will send out to all training event attendees following the event, reminding them of the process. So we will make sure that they know that they need to go in and complete the survey, complete the post-training requirements, obviously with your support to make sure that the observation is done by a coach of the appropriate level, and that the lesson plan is unique and follows the guidelines within the rubric on the intranet. Okay, still talking a lot. We're doing great. So now we're going to get Coach Guy through level 2. Maybe. So all of those things I just said within the LMS, I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I, as Guy, have completed my Get Ready for Level 2 course, but I'm going to show you what that means, I think. I believe I'm already enrolled, but we'll find out. So again, coaching category, you'll see all of the courses that a coach can go access, ready to go. So you'll see for Coach Guy, when you're in the Get Ready for Level 2 course, there are the 2 modules, the Level 2 prerequisite and the event enrollment selection. You would click this button to start the prerequisite to finish it. I did not prepare Coach Guy as well as I completed Coach Bobby, and if I'm not going to make you watch the entire prerequisite in this webinar, but trust me, it's some great content, highly recommend. Once this button opens up and the prerequisite is completed, you will actually be taken to this training event calendar where you'll be able to sort through and you'll see the different training events that are coming up. So as there is a training event available, it appears on the calendar when it actually is. So I want to go to the Houston level 2. Once I decide that Houston is the place for me, again, this notes this is only to request a spot at this training. This is not officially registering you. You do that via the separate link with the payment and the other registration questions we ask. This is simply to request a spot in Houston. And all they're going to do is click enroll. And it says I'm eligible. That's a good thing. If for some reason your coach is not eligible and they're attempting to select a spot at a training event, that little pop-up that appeared would tell them why they can't go. Either they haven't completed a previous requirement, their background check or safety training may be expired. So the system will tell the coach themselves if there is something missing from them being able to register for a coach training event at a given level. Just making you all aware in case you get questions about that from your coaches. Okay, so I'm going to Houston, hopefully. I'm waiting to get the email from headquarters. It says, here's your registration link. Please complete payment. My chapter pays for it, or I pay for it, either way, depending on your own business processes. And then we get enough registrations to actually confirm the Houston training. I go to training, have a great time. And when I come back, I see now in the My Training area that I have this other course, the Level 2 Training and Post-Training Work course. And within that is my survey and my post-training documents. Very similar to Level 1, where the survey opens up just a little pop-up with some questions, and the post-training documents is a way for them to file upload in a similar manner for us to review. Once those are all complete, I get an email, my Salesforce record updates, magic happens in the background, and I am officially a Level 2 coach, ready to go on to the next level of coach training or continue at that level if I so choose. I got a very subtle nod from a few people, so I think we're making sense. Okay, beautiful. Levels 3 and 4 are exact carbon copies of level 2, so I'm not going to take you through all of those because you guys have listened to me long enough. The only difference for level 4, I will say, is that there is no post-training document requirement at this time. So when a coach goes to level 4 to become a chapter trainer, who's then able to deliver level 1s, the only thing they have to do after the training event is complete the survey. Once the survey is done, then they have achieved level 4 status, everything updates, emails go out, fireworks come out of the screen, and everybody's happy. All right, good deal. That in a nutshell is the process. Hopefully you guys saw in each one of those slides, and again, I didn't read them to you, but they will be there as a reference, what each person or role, if you will, in that coach development cycle is doing at every given stage of the coach pathway. In the published version of this, levels 3 and 4 are also included in the slide decks, so you guys can see and reference as you guys need help or have questions about who's doing what at every given point. But hopefully this kind of spelled out the different components and the moving parts around getting registered for coach training. A lot of this power is in the coach's hands, so please make sure you're communicating with your coaches. Hopefully there's some coaches on the call that are now just totally confident in this process and can help their peers. But we are here to help, so feel free to ask questions, send emails to support. We know this first round with the fall trainings this upcoming season, first time we're doing this. So we expect there to be some bumps in the roads, but we are ready to help. And hopefully this can be a smooth transition process going forward and make it super easy on all the parties that are involved in developing your coaches. That's all I got. There's a whole bunch of resources in the deck. Brittany is dropping a whole bunch of resources in the chat, so please bookmark those pages in your favorites in your browser. But we are happy to answer questions. You're more than welcome to come off mute or drop them in the chat. I think we got to all the questions that were previously posted, but happy to answer more if you have any.
Hi, Lexi. This is Ron Cosper. You answered my first question about segueing from level 1 to level 2. I think
Beautiful.
I seem to be in some sort of a in-between state.
Okay.
My level 1 says course allocated, and I don't have an ability to go back into the enroll stage, rather, to finish any of the steps.
Okay.
But when I go over to level 2 and I click enroll, it tells me that I do not meet all the requirement or the prerequisite requirements, and
Yeah.
just am kind of stuck, I guess.
Yes. Yes, you are. So when you're inside the LMS itself, it's a great call out. So if you are previously enrolled in a course and you try to access it again from the training library, you can't. It'll say that you've already got it. You can't get it from here. When that happens, I'd recommend heading to the My Training area and seeing if you can get into the course from there. If for some reason it is not appearing on this page where you can click view or review or resume or anything like that, let us know and we can troubleshoot a little bit further for you, Ron. But that should be where you should be able to see if there's unfinished requirements in a course you've already started that you've been enrolled in. That's where you would go to access them.
Got it. Okay. And yeah, and when I went into there, I see that I have it, and then I just uploaded my observation form, like I think yesterday into this session. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yes. And whoever is on our team scheduled to review on Mondays, will look at it today and take a peek and hopefully get you approved and moving right along.
Perfect. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything.
Yeah, no, great question.
Hey, Lexi, John Stinchfield in Tallahassee. Quick question.
John. Yes.
I have a junior coach who turns 18 August 1st. What's the
Wonderful.
process of transitioning a junior coach to an adult coach?
That is a great question, and one we have gotten more than I ever thought we would in the last couple months. So happy to answer, Coach John. So the juniors that you are graduating high school, turning 18, you're getting them through their safety requirements. What you need to do on the Salesforce side is update their contact type. So I don't have Salesforce pulled up, but you will essentially take participant off and swap for alumni once they've graduated. And you'll need to include the same requirements we have for adults, which includes engagement status. So if you scroll up in the chat, I think Annalise or somebody dropped in the different Salesforce fields that are required for an adult to get provisioned. You'll just need to make sure your participant has those same fields. Once they have an engagement status, the system, and they're over 18, the system will automatically recognize that they're grown up now, and transition them in the platform. So they'll get enrolled in Welcome to First Tee. When they log in, they'll be able to see the adult course catalog, not the participant ones anymore. And then anything that they had been enrolled in previously as a kid, it will follow them over, so they could still play the games. If they hadn't finished all of them, they can still go maybe finish junior coach training if they hadn't finished it yet, but they will have access to the entire adult library once they meet the Welcome to First Tee and safety requirements for all of those courses. And it looks
Thank you very
like,
much.
yeah, Andrea also put the information in the chat. So if you guys want to copy and paste that, and we'll make sure that those steps are on the intranet as well. Beautiful. And then I see a question about junior coaches getting junior coach training. So that is something that you, it will be your First Tee app admin, would be able to enroll the kids in junior coach training within the LMS itself. So when you're here as let's find one over here. Webinar Lexi, that's me, Webinar Lexi. Okay, so when you're in an admin, as the kids side, one, you want to make sure that you're on the participant admin side if you're both, but you would go to, if you have a specific learner, the manage learners, find your person, and from here you'd be able to assign them training if it's an individual. And in there are all the participant content, including junior coach, which I might already have enrolled Princess Anna in junior coach training because she's a rock star and she needs to know how to do that. The other option is to assign training in bulk. So again, is your First Tee app admin account. If you go to training, assign training in bulk, it'll take you to the categories. You'll click assign under junior coach and you can assign it to as many juniors as you like from this page just by checking all these test people account. Click assign. And they've been assigned junior coach training. That does trigger an email to whatever the primary contact email address is for those junior coaches. So they'll be alerted that they've been enrolled and to head into the First Tee app platform to go finish it. Hopefully that answered your question, Alan. Probably more so. Awesome.
Hi, Lexi. This is Ron again. I got
Hi,
one
Ron.
last question.
Yeah.
I believe that you said that with this new setup, the coaches can kind of go at their own pace with the levels. I just wanted to confirm, does that mean like I won't have any kind of delay from going to like a level 2 to a level 3, or is there like a time lapse of like 6 months to so long?
There is not a time requirement anymore with going between levels. So we've actually had coaches go from ACT to level 3 within a calendar year sometimes. So it is definitely possible for them to go as fast or as slow as they'd like. The important part on our side is that they're getting the reps. So you as the chapter are keeping an eye on how they're coaching and that they're getting the experience, actually putting in the coaching hours before they move to the next level. And then also making sure that those observations are conducted a little while after they go to training to let them sort of practice the skills that they learned at an in-person training. And then you can observe and see if it's sort of sinking in or what areas we might want to develop a little further and give them a chance to hone in on a little bit more. But from a technical standpoint, there's nothing stopping a learner from progressing as quickly as they can get all of those requirements completed.
Outstanding. Thank you for that.
Sure. And Kristen was nodding as I was talking, so I think I said all the things she was going to say when she came off mute. So perfect. Hello, John. That is a great question. Will there ever be a time for a coach to go to a training based on skill, or do we or need, as we have, versus progressing along the pathway? So right now it is a squiggly linear path. I will say we did revamp a lot of the content at our trainings to not be as age specific. I know it said on the slides that the focus for some of these levels is specific age groups. But I would say that's more of the example ages we use, but the strategies continue to evolve and impact across all the different age groups of First Tee program classes, as we have kind of honed in our content at level 1, 2, 3, and 4 to sort of build on itself from a coach standpoint and a delivery standpoint, not so much the age and the curriculum, if that makes sense. So I'll let Kristen maybe elaborate more if she has anything to add, but I would say historically, if you've been in the network for a while, it was very prescribed that like level 1 was player and level 2 was par, and like that is the only kids you can coach. I think as we've evolved the content and developed more of a holistic approach to improving the delivery of our curriculum, not so much the curriculum content itself, the coaches are evolving to be able to meet the needs of all ages of kids at every level. It's not necessarily you're only coaching 7-year-olds at level 1 because that's all we've ever taught you to do. So hopefully that makes sense. But Kristen, if you have anything to add, feel free.
Yeah, I think the bigger piece is that we're more focused on the coach curriculum, meaning the coach building blocks, right? So we're building on that knowledge in each level and continuing to develop and strengthen there. It is true the level 2, we have the participants that come are either the 10 and 11, 12, 13-year-olds, and we are focused on some of those strategies, but we still speak to all levels and how to support that. And again, a greater focus on teen retention and strategies for working with teens in our level 3. But we don't recommend, obviously, you can't skip a level there, but there's still content. Again, like Lexi said, we're not as curriculum focused in terms of our curriculum that we're delivering at that age level. We're really focused on the building blocks and the coach delivery of content and strategies at all levels.
Great question. Easy way for us to plug our new content at coach training. So good job, John. Beautiful. Okay, well, I think we have dumped a lot of information at you. Hopefully it wasn't too complicated. Like I said at the beginning, we are here to help. We know this process is new and different and will be bumpy, as always, because it's people and we're people and it happens. Technology works great when it can sometimes. So please reach out if you have questions. If your coaches have questions, they're welcome to reach out. We have program support team members ready to go in addition to the coach training team. So we're all here and happy to help make sure this is a smooth process for everybody going forward. Please make sure you bookmark those resources. This deck, along with the recording, will be available. We'll send you an email after this as well. But we really appreciate you guys listening and learning and hopefully understanding as we head into fall coach training season, which officially opens today. So feel free to get those coaches signed up through the training calendar within the LMS, and we're looking forward to seeing everybody this fall. Thanks so much for your time. Have a good one.